Hello, beautiful people. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to Your Spiritual Guru podcast. I'm your host and spiritual guru, Erin. I've been on my own spiritual journey for the past 2 years, and it's an honor to walk beside you as you navigate through your own. This podcast is for anyone who is wanting to do inner work, get more in tune with themselves, heal past traumas, and find their inner power. If that's you, then sit tight because this is going to get deep. You ready? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Your Spiritual Guru podcast. I'm going to warn y'all now. I'm not sure how long this episode is going to be. As you can see, I'm still in my uniform. Today has been a busy day. Came straight from work this morning, came off shift to go to class. Then from class, I ran errands. Then I got Jordy, been occupying her. I haven't even had a chance to eat since this afternoon. So I apologize if you hear my stomach rumbling throughout the episode. My bad. And plus, my recording devices are on like 40% right now. So we'll see how long this episode lasts. Also, giving y'all kind of an update for those of you who are keeping up with my schooling. So in a couple of episodes back, or maybe it was last episode, I mentioned that I was right now, or at the time of that recording, I was stationed to one of the busier stations, the one that's known for running calls all night. And as y'all know, during the weekdays, I go straight from shift to class the very next morning. And so if I'm running calls all night and I don't get any sleep, I'm going into class the next morning on, zero sleep. So that's what happened, not this past shift, but the one before that, not yesterday, but the shift before. And I literally went to class on 2 hours of sleep. And I basically had a mental breakdown, like to the point where it was like I kept telling myself, okay, it's not going to be a big deal. I can handle it. I can do it, whatever. I'm just going to make it work, to me not getting that sleep and then kind of just imagining the ripple effect that would have. It's like, okay, we're not even in the part where we do clinicals now, to where it would literally be work one day, school the next day, and then clinicals the day after that. Like I would have no off days except for the weekends. We're not even in that part yet. And this is already happening. And so I kept just thinking about that and the fact that me running on no sleep, and it's a toss up whether or not we're going to get ran all night, the night before at that station. So it's like, my daughter's going to suffer from that too as well, because I'm running off no sleep. I'm going to class and then I have to get her right after class. I'm going to be more agitated. I'm going to be short-tempered, all of that. So all of that to say, I requested to move to another station that basically runs more calls during the day, but doesn't really run any calls at night. So that gives me the opportunity to get some sleep at night. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, that will improve and that will prove favorable for me for the rest of these 8 months that I'm in class. So far, my overall grade for the class is an 83. So pretty good. I think I've passed all of my tests except for the exception of 2 that I made 79s on, which isn't bad. So that's my little update for y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get into this subject. And before I do, I understand if the title of this episode is a little triggering for some. And so I want to make this very clear. Just because I have a specific relationship and experience with the higher power, with God, with spirit, with the universe, whatever you believe in, does not mean that it negates your personal experience. One is not right and one is not wrong, right? We're all experiencing this through our own lens, through our own experiences, and I can't tell you that your relationship with God is wrong, just like you can't tell me that my relationship with God is wrong, right? So this is a safe space. We're not here to judge each other, but I am here to share my personal experience to hopefully shed some light on it for those who may have gone through similar things that I've gone through, that may feel the same way that I'm feeling, but maybe are afraid to speak on it. Or maybe they know what they're feeling, but they don't know how to explain it to someone, things like that. So I just want to make that clear. I didn't want the title of this to be like I'm trying to separate people, or say that, okay, one religion or one belief system or one experience is better than the other. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I believe in. That's not what I want the energy of this podcast and this community to be. So I just wanted to clear the air and get that out of the way first. So this topic came about when I was having a conversation with someone, and they were asking me about witchcraft, basically, because I've shared on the podcast that I practice witchcraft. And witchcraft, I feel like, has gotten a very negative connotation. We think of movies, how witchcraft is portrayed, and, all these dark spells and casting spells and, bewitching people and hexing them, and, all of this. It's a bad light is shed on witchcraft in general, right? And that's just always what I have kind of, I guess, gravitated towards or related to the most as far as what I practice. But honestly, I don't really know how to describe it any other way, right? Until the other day, which I'll get to that. And, this person kept asking me questions, and they're saying, oh, witchcraft is bad, and, this and the third. And, I mentioned that in the witchcraft is in the Bible, and he said, no, it's a negative thing in the Bible, and this and the third. And I'm not going to go back and forth with someone about scriptures. I used to be forced to read the Bible every single year. And, like I mentioned in previous podcasts, a lot of my childhood I have blocked out because of trauma. So that's one of the things that I blocked out. I haven't read the Bible in a very, very long time, but I do want to reread it again, just because I'm in a different headspace now. It would be because I'm genuinely interested in what it says. And so I can, get the stories right, get my information correct, not kind of summarize. I want to be able to, know exactly what it says, but I want it to be, from me. I want it to come from me. So like I said, I wasn't going to go back and forth. And I was thinking about it because he mentioned to me, he said, well, you don't even believe in God. And I said, yes, I do. I just may not believe in God the way that you believe in God, or I may not see them the way that you see them. And he was like, well, how other way is there to see it? It's just one God. And I said, yes, but is it? Is there more? Is the way that you see it the actual, I don't have the answers to this. And nobody does, right? I don't know if there's a one true God, or if there's many, or if everyone's right or no one's right. I don't know if this thing is just an entity that's just everywhere all at once, or I don't have the answers to this, right? I don't know, right? And for me personally, I am not going to put all of my faith in forming my opinion or relationship of a God or a higher power based on a book that was written by imperfect men. I'm sorry. That's just me. I'm not going to do it. If that's your relationship, I love that for you. But it's not mine. It's not my viewpoint, right? So this got me thinking, how can I describe what it is that I believe in and what I practice and how I feel about this, right? And so I started saying I practice spirituality, right? That seemed to fit how I felt, the things that I practiced, the things, that I've experienced. And I owned up to the fact that I don't have answers for a lot of this stuff, you know? And you mentioned, that's what faith is. And I said, you're right, believing in what you can't see, because if there is a God, we can't see him, but can you? Or can't you? Right? Because with the title of this podcast, the reason, that came up for me is because, like I've expressed in previous episodes, I was I was basically raised into a religion. I was born into it and had no choice in the matter. I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to that. My religion may be different from the one that you grew up in, but the same thing applies, right? We didn't have a choice. We were born into it. This is what our parents practiced. This is what our whole family practiced. So we just went along, right? And I was forced to go to church, I think twice a week. Okay. If I'm remembering correctly, Sunday. Actually, no, well, I wouldn't say it was church. We had church on Sunday, the Kingdom Hall, and then we would have a Bible study at one of the elders' houses, I don't know, like a Tuesday or something like that. And then we would have another meeting at the Kingdom Hall on Thursday, which would, be a formal thing. So 3 times a week, we're studying the Bible, going to church. I never felt God there. I didn't. I don't know if that was just due to the fact that I really didn't know what to look for. I was young, so I really didn't have an opinion on any of it. At that time, I know some people, figure out their relationship with a higher power at a younger age, and that's great. But for me, when I was younger, I wasn't interested in it. Or it could just be that, for me, that wasn't my experience, right? Because as I got older and I began to sit with myself and sit in silence and ask myself hard questions and try to get to the root of things and, controlling what I can control, I started to feel closer to a higher power because I was discovering the power within myself, right? And if we believe, y'all have heard my theory before, if we believe that we were made in God's image, then we are all God. God is within all of us, right? But I take that a step further. God is in everything I see. So while I never felt God in a church, I feel and see God when I see the sunrise every morning or the sunset. I feel and see God at the beach, in my backyard. I feel and see God in my daughter. I feel and see God in myself, right? So this is kind of a message of support and comfort if you are someone who isn't really sure what they believe or what they feel or how to explain what they're experiencing when it relates to the higher power, spirit, universe, God, whatever you want to refer to it as. Because I feel like people are scared to speak this stuff, right? Because it's very controversial, especially in the times that we're living. Sorry, I'm trying to like hold in a sneeze. Okay, it passed. Especially in the times that we're living, you know, this country, which for those of y'all who are listening to this podcast, you know, in different countries, I'm talking about the US right now, where I'm at. I feel like this country is mainly like the rules and the laws and things like that are governed under, or trying to what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to appease one particular religion, when the United States has many different people from all over who have different religions, experience religion differently, experience God differently. I don't want to get into a political debate on this podcast, so this isn't what this is about. But this is just a message that if you're someone like me who came from a religion that did not align with you, or you feel like you haven't really found your place, it's okay. Because for me, even though I have been separated from that religion for, oh God, almost 15 years. Holy shit. 15 years. Wow. I still have to deconstruct a lot of teachings in my head. There's still a lot of things that I have blocked, a lot of memories that I've blocked, even in my childhood that doesn't even relate to the religion, right? I still have a lot of internal battles that I deal with from time to time because I was taught one way, but I'm experiencing it this way. And is it bad or wrong that I'm experiencing this way? No, because this is my experience, and it's not, it's not wrong to have this experience, but I was taught one, just this internal battle. I'm still having to go through that 15 years later. Y'all think about that. I'm grown now and I still have to battle with that. So if that's you, if you can relate to that, I just want you to know it's okay to not have all the answers, because at the end of the day, none of us really do, right? It's all about faith. And your experience is not wrong unless it's harmful to someone, right? Unless your belief system tells you to, harm someone. If there's no harm in it and it's what you experience, how is that wrong? That's just my 2 cents for the day. Oh, this actually lasted a pretty good while. Okay. So I'm happy with the length of this. I wasn't sure I was going to make it this long. My stomach hasn't even growled. I don't know if I just jinxed it just then, but like I said, I am going to do my best to keep recording these every single week. I'm very fortunate that this felt like, because I'm recording this Thursday and the podcast drops on Friday, so I was able, after class to just go ahead and record it. And so I'm going to try to get better at, hopefully I can start recording them ahead of time, like a couple of episodes, and just go ahead and have them lined up, so I don't, run the risk of doing it last minute and potentially missing it. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for, continuing to support the podcast and support me. You can continue to do so by sharing the podcast, sharing it with a friend, sharing it on your social media. You can tag me at AIR_WREN. And as always, I would love to hear from you, your feedback, any questions you have, or any topics you want me to discuss. Okay? So, until we meet again, namaste.